Plant-based food and beverages for Greenfield is really true innovation. We are actually in a situation where there is no mature market or category to really position ourselves against. So how do we know that we are going really to fit the consumer needs? Well, actually, not by following what the consumers are telling us, but by trying to access what they truly want. Here we are going to demonstrate how we can apply a design thinking approach to the Greenfield in order to come up with new format, texture and taste that consumers really badly want but are struggling to express. So design thinking unfolds in 5 phases. So we start with emphasize, then define, ideate, prototype and finally test. The first phase, emphasize, is super critical. So during this phase, typically we are going to immerse product developers so that they completely embody the target group, that they feel like they feel, and that they see things through their eyes. So this is what we call closing the empathy gap between the developers and the users. So when we have this connection done, we can enter the define phase and we can frame the problem. So this is where we will understand what the product needs to resolve, and not based on just what consumers say, but also based on what we understand of their behaviors and their drivers. So when we are framing the challenge, we also focus on formalizing the tensions that have to be resolved by the product. So in order to address this tension, we truly believe that texture and taste will ignite the next generation of product, and that this is going to open the potential beyond mimicking and drive the expansion of plant-based consumption. So the brief today is to explore how a dish that is solely centered on plant-based can exist on its own without trying to mimic meat. So what we are trying to achieve is to deliver the sensory cues of plant with a unique flavor and texture experience that will ultimately deliver craveability, richness and satisfaction. We then enter the ideation phase with consumers in co-creation and or possibly our customers. So during this phase, we are going to use inspiration and stimuli from restaurant, global food trend, or also assignment from chef, like Chef Julien from the Bocuse Institute. So in his creation, Julien is mixing taste and textures and colors in a very unique way. For instance, if we take the bell pepper and maple glaze example, so the protein that he's using are going to bring the bite and the chewing experience that consumers are looking for, and it will actually also deliver the satiety without using the color or the flavor codes of animal-based products. When we're refining the ideas, we will need to mindfully balance the newness of the dish and the recognizability. Actually, consumers are always seeking for novelty, but we know that familiarity is still a very important driver of acceptance. So ultimately, by blending the ideas of Chef Julien with the insight that we have and the constraints of industrial production, we will achieve advanced product concept that we can translate into final consumer goods. So the dish in front of me is a translation of the protein square sauté with mushroom. So the protein square are going to be added in the risotto in order to preserve the gluten-free characteristic of the dish, but at the same time to enhance the protein content. We also finalize with some IFF colors that are bringing authenticity and craveability to the dish by mimicking the pumpkin espumé. Last but not least, we are having the addition of plant-based cheese, which is very important if we want to enhance the palatability and the richness. Finally, we're going to test the prototypes with consumers. This is a critical phase because this is where we're going to collect feedback from them and register their reaction. And this will help us to make improvement in the dish. So we may have to go one step back and then take this improvement on board and then carry on the process again. But by doing this, we are going to have an iterating process where we maximize the contact point with the consumers to make sure that at the end, the prototype is going to deliver on promises.